Ooh, Snoop Dogg controversy. Snoop Doggy Dogg.
Hello and welcome back to Weekend today on this Saturday.
Ooh, I want to make it big. Wait, where'd it go? Get out of here.
Hello and welcome back to Weekend today on this Saturday morning. Well, the homophobic saga embroiling the AFL is deepening this morning with fresh calls to cancel Snoop Dogg from performing at next month's grand final. The outrage follows comments made by the controversial rapper criticising the portrayal of a same-sex couple in a children's movie. For more on this, we are joined this morning by Shadow Immigration Minister Paul Scar and Lizzie Pearl by my side in the studio. Paul, to you first and foremost, these comments came a day after the AFL defended the rapper at a media conference. Should Snoop Dogg get the flick for the grand final?
Well, Clint, I think it's a grand final. It should be about the football. It shouldn't be about the entertainment. And I think in the lead up to a grand final, when people are talking about the entertainment, that's a bit of a concern. And I don't see...
Who do we have for the AFL final? Who do we think's going to be in the final? Obviously, I want GWS to be in the final. Obviously, but who do we reckon is gonna do it?
Why we have to import these huge international acts to the AFL grand final?
Yeah, the NRL had Barnesy. The NRL had Barnesy. Come on, guys, just get Jimmy. Just get Jimmy Barnes. It's like being at the pub, you know. You can have your pie, you can have your beer, you can have some Barnesy. Look, let's not pretend that we're all above Jimmy Barnes, okay? None of us here are above some Barnesy, so let's just admit it. Let's just admit it. It's just the AFL flashing their money, and yeah, I'm against it.
We've got plenty of talent here in Australia, and I'd personally like to see someone in Australia be given the opportunity.
Well, that's another issue altogether, but surely this is a case of double standards, in my opinion anyway. You've got the AFL suspending a bloke for a homophobic slur, a four-match ban, and yet Snoop Dogg makes some pretty irresponsible and hurtful comments in a podcast, yet gets a ticket to the grand final. He's performing on the big stage. Is it a case of double standards, do you think?
Well, I think you have to be consistent. You have to be consistent, and if you're going to set certain standards, then people are going to raise questions just as you're raising them if you deviate from those standards on a case-by-case basis. So I think it's a good point you make.
Yeah, the AFL has long said it has a zero tolerance on this issue, but there has been inconsistencies during the week. And Lizzie, in context, the AFL remains the only major professional sporting code in the world to have never had a single male player come out as gay. And yet we're having this debate right here, right now, because those...
Well, let's see what NRL players have come out as gay. That's kind of hot. NRL players gay. Ooh, the first openly gay player was Ian Roberts, who came out in 1995. Damn, son. See, NRL is more manly than AFL, guys, I'm telling you. They're secure enough in their masculinity to be in a scrum, you know. And look, John Hopewadi was straight, and he was the only one sticking his thumb up people's bums in the scrum. We all know that. Never forget, crouching tiger, hidden finger. I will always remember that saga. I wanted to say rest in peace, but he's not dead. He's not dead. Last time I saw him, he was a security guard at a club in King's Cross. But yeah. Oh, I like that. 1995. That's ages ago. Love to see it. Who did he play for? He played for the Rabbitohs, Manly, New South Wales boy. That would make sense. We like that. 1995, and it's what? 20 years later, no openly gay AFL players? Come on. Come out. Come out of the closet. It's warm out here. It's nice.
Comments are so hurtful for so many. It's not helping change.
No, and that tells us everything we need to know about the culture of the AFL, that no one feels strong enough or supported enough or, you know, have enough people around them to come out. And that is heartbreaking, because think of all of those young boys, young men who must be feeling so isolated and alone at this point, and then to have Snoop Dogg held up as the big hero of the AFL Grand Final, and these are some of the views that he holds. It really is quite distressing, and I'm feeling for all of those young men out there this morning who don't feel supported enough to come out and be themselves.
It feels like a bit of a line in the sand moment for the AFL as well. So
yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it, because how they react from this will tell us a lot about their culture and what they value in their culture.
Well said. Let's get to the news of the day now. It's been a shocking old week for the AFL, just as the league...
Was the Snoop comment recent? I don't know. It was in a podcast, so it can't be like too old, right? Because podcasts have only been around for like the last 10 years. They're not like... Podcasts haven't been around for that long. So I can't imagine it's too old, but I have no idea. I think I would have to do a fact check. Snoop Doggy Dogg. Sorry, I always get that song in my head whenever anyone says Snoop Dogg. Oh, wait, we've got it. We've got it. Thank you, Hyperbovian. The man of the century. The cow of the century. Snoop Dogg. Excuse me. Excuse me, sir. Can you give me the TLDR, please? No, they weren't helpful because I don't want to read them. 2 days ago. Oh, that is very contemporaneous, as we would say. As we would say in the world of law, we would say that is a very contemporaneous. That is a very contemporaneous statement. That's not great. That is not great. That is pretty shit house. Yeah, he should lose. He should lose the gig. Because imagine how much the AFL are paying him just to come to Australia to do that. It's such a weird choice as well. It's such a weird choice. Look, I'm sure Barnesy is free. Just like, just ask him. Look, I am not above a bit of boganism, okay? I enjoy it. It's fun. I like it. Do enjoy it.
Handed down that 4-match ban to Crow star Isaac Rankin for a homophobic slur. A new controversy has now engulfed regarding their grand final headliner.
Yeah, rapper Snoop Dogg coming under fire for homophobic comments made on a recent podcast, sparking
Oh, it was recent. We could have just watched the video.
Removal from the grand final. And for more, we're joined by amateur footballer Michael O'Donnell and research fellow at Swinburne University, Ryan Storg. Morning to you both. Michael, to you first. You have a unique and personal connection to this issue. What was your reaction when you heard both about Rankin's ban and then also Snoop's comments?
Well, obviously Isaac Rankin's ban comes after a number of incidents in the AFL which have been really disappointing. And just to have that continually heaped on, the concern I have is for the younger players of the game that keep hearing this sort of language that makes them question their position in the sport.
And what about Snoop's comments?
Snoop's comments...
The thing is, I know some of the blokiest blokes ever that are not homophobic at all. I'm talking about guys that grew up like Muslim, guys that like, are very, very, very blokey, and they're just like not homophobic at all because they're just whatever. They're just like, oh, you're gay, bro? All right, cool. Like they actually just don't care. And it's like, it's very odd that anyone in this day and age is like homophobic. Like, it's gotta be... Look, like, I'm just saying, if I was a closeted gay man and I was around this all day, like, saying there might be some projection going on. I'm just saying there might be some projection going on, okay? I do like some sweating muscless man. I do enjoy the sweaty muscle.
They're slightly different, obviously. People have different opinions on different things, and that's an important thing to remember. The way he presents those opinions is really difficult, and obviously it comes at a very difficult time for the AFL with this issue being, front and centre.
Ryan, you've got experience in this as a research fellow at Swinburne. Again, a question about Snoop. I mean, is this a case of double standards, do you think?
Yeah, look, the optics aren't good for the AFL in the sense of if this was a different timing and this hadn't happened, then we might have a very different position. But I think mixing it with what's happened, his recent comments, there's also been comments from Respect Victoria and many women's organisations as well about the comments he's made towards women on in lyrics and things like that. So I think it's just come at a really bad time and really actually highlighted the problems around it. Right. I think it's showing that the wider audience and fans aren't going to put up with this anymore.
Well, given that, Ryan, is this a chance then for the AFL to send a message and to make a stand? We talk so much about, a fork in the road, but I feel on this issue especially, the AFL claims it has a zero tolerance. Does it?
Yeah, look, the proof will be in the pudding, but I think it is a clear opportunity for the AFL to kind of take a stand. I think ultimately, though, it kind of highlights that they probably don't know how to handle this issue in the respect that this has been 6 incidents in 2 years. And I think handing down bans isn't working. So I think they need to have a different approach to actually send a message, because we know, although it is just some comments that people might say, actually it's far reaching around that. And research that I've done shows that every time these incidents happen, the use of homophobic language in community sport clubs from young boys in particular increases. So it has far wider reaching consequences. Well,
yeah, you're telling kids that it's like acceptable at the elite level to like be calling people, you know, whatever the slur was. It's not, yeah, it's pretty shit. It's pretty shit. And I feel like the NRL gets like a rap for being like, you know, the meathead sport or whatever, but I just, honestly, the blokiest blokes I know are not at all homophobic. They're just like so, I know guys that like will like, I know guys like that are so affectionate with each other and are like very, very, very straight. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's like a lot of projection going on. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, that, you know, does protest too much sort of territory.
Consequences.
Michael, you've spoken before about the culture of silence in the AFL. What does this latest controversy tell you about the AFL's readiness to truly tackle homophobia?
It obviously is difficult because I think that we do need the suspensions. I think the suspensions, especially when at this time of the season, when they do affect final series, it doesn't just affect the player, it affects the fans, it affects the other teammates as a whole. It's incredibly frustrating.
My heart breaks for the player or players that might have overheard that go back to the dressing room. A gay player, potentially a gay player, who is living, you know, in a culture of fear, basically. I mean, this is the issue.
Well, I mean, and if you're in that situation, surely right now, in this moment, you feel like you can't come out and be who you are.
Well, Ryan, what's your message for those young players who might feel alienated this morning?
Yeah, look, my message would be that sport generally in the last 10, 15 years has made great strides. So 10 years ago, there was a big research project done called Out in the Fields, which showed that around 76% of people from the community had witnessed or experienced homophobia. That's down to like 53% across the board from the research I did last year. So there are efforts around this, and I think it's ultimately really important to understand that they have a place in sport, and that often these views that people might say aren't matched with the general population. I think we're seeing a really kind of important point in sport and AFL, because the general consensus is this isn't acceptable, whereas I think many years ago we might not have had this same kind of response. So I think it's really important, but also for the talent perspective as well. There's many gay athletes across the world who provide really strong contributions to sport, and I think we're limiting that from a sport in Australia to do that because people can't be themselves.
Ryan, do you think Snoop should be dropped?
I think from a business perspective, it would be the best outcome for the AFL. I think if they don't, they're just going to give themselves more media. And why would you want this to distract from one of the greatest sporting events in the calendar?
Michael, do you agree?
Yeah, I think the AFL need to draw a line in the sand now. If they say they have a zero tolerance for homophobia, this is a chance to prove it.
Well said. Gents, thank you so much for your time on the weekend today.
Victorian boys, you will have to enlighten me because obviously I'm not Victorian and I'm not a boy, but Victorian guys, yeah, you're gonna have to explain this one to me because I grew up in like the most religious region of Australia, Western Sydney, where, you know, it's predominantly Islamic and different denominations of Christianity. And I know Muslim guys who have come out, and, you know, it's kind of been like, well, brother, if you're gay, it's because Allah made you gay. But then there's the caveat of, well, you can't act on it, right? But at least there's still that acceptance to some degree, right? There's still that acceptance of like, well, like I've literally heard that conversation take place before. And same, like most Christians, you know, obviously there's that brand of American Christianity that I won't mention, that scourge upon the earth. But a lot of Christians also take the view, right? Well, like God doesn't make mistakes. It's the same, you know, it's the same as like Allah is perfect. He doesn't make mistakes. So if you are this way, then it was, you know, it was God's will. And yeah, if even like the hyper religious people that I know can kind of take that stance. It's just like, yeah, what's the go with like, is this like a rural thing or is it in the cities? Because like even when I was at school, I don't think people were this homophobic. I don't think anyone cared. I don't think anyone cared that much at all. I remember a friend of mine in high school came out and everyone was just like, cool, and no one cared. Like literally no one cared. There was no positive reaction, no negative reaction. There just wasn't a reaction. You can't really answer. You don't really know. Yeah, I don't know. It's just it just seems, I don't know. I just feel like yeah, it's just weird to me. It's just really weird to me, I guess. You're not sure? Maybe just your own experience? Yeah, just your own experience. It's just big culture. Yeah, that seems really weird to me. It just seems really weird to me because people always say that like Victoria is the most like small L liberal state. It's the most left-leaning state. This, that, and the other. Progressive this, progressive that. And that just doesn't seem to gel. Yeah, the most woke state. The most Nazi infested state as well. It just doesn't seem to gel. Like it just doesn't seem to gel well with that image at all. The person that you knew that was openly gay during high school was mostly not liked because of his sexuality. Oh, not because of his sexuality, but he would just generally make people uncomfortable. Yeah, it sounds like maybe he was just a dickhead. Wait, did I read that correctly? Yeah, I've got nothing. That's just insane to me. You inferred what you meant to say correctly. Yeah, I was skim reading, so I was trying to get the gist. I just opened Food Guesser. It hasn't got a timer on it, so. Because of the way you present yourself, you've always copped comments. Yeah, I think a lot of people can interpret, like, if you belong to, like, subcultures and things like that, people can interpret it as, like, being gay or whatever, long hair, painted nails. Yeah, but the thing is, like, chicks, especially teenage girls, they love that. Like, girls love that when they're teenagers, right? Like, my type, unfortunately, when I was young, was very much, like, musician, struggling artist. Like, when I was a teenager, that's what I was into, unfortunately, for me. So, it's not a good type of man to be attracted to. But yeah, that's definitely what I was into. And lots of teenage girls are definitely into that. The footy boys at your school was a popularity masculine thing, and they were all very homophobic. Yeah, but the thing is, if you're comfortable in your own masculinity and you're like, if you're heterosexual and you're comfortable in that, like, I don't know, because I feel like the New South Wales interpretation is I'm so comfortable in my sexuality and the fact that I love the female cloister that I you know, I definitely know where the clitoris is, and yeah, I am very comfortable being around gay men, because a lot of straight guys in New South Wales go to like gay clubs, like a lot of them, and they like, it's just, I don't know, I'm not going to say there's no homophobic people in New South Wales. Obviously statistically there would be. There's always dickheads. Unfortunately, dickheads have always existed and they will always exist, but yeah, it just doesn't seem like it's as big of a thing, at least in my experience anyway. The thing is, they weren't comfortable. Lots of tipped hair, and one guy wore foundation on game day for the photos, but he bullied the gay kids. Yeah, I think old mate might have been having trouble accepting who he is. Sounds like maybe he might have yeah. Because people always say like, oh, homophobia a lot of the time is projection, but I mean, it sounds like a lot of the time that may well be the case, right? Because yeah, that seems like pretty textbook like projection. It must suck though. I will say, in a way, I kind of have a little bit of sympathy, because it must suck to hate yourself that much and to not be able to accept who you are. And that must that's got to have some type of inner turmoil. But obviously you don't take that out on other people. That's gross. But yeah, I do imagine it would be really, really hard to not be able to live your life authentically and like tell people who you are, because I don't know, of some archaic bullshit that you've got in your head. I don't know, it just sounds like a sad way to live your life, honestly. You suppose the way you get into AFL might contribute? It's from high school footy and then scout the private school league, lots of boys' schools. Okay, I'm definitely like not familiar with like Victorian culture like that. Like, I probably would have never watched an AFL game if, one, I didn't move to Victoria, and two, Western Sydney didn't have a team, because obviously I'm a very proud Westie. It's like basically my personality. My entire personality is I'm from Western Sydney, and if you say mean things about Western Sydney, I'm gonna yell at you. And like, that's basically 80% of my personality, let's be honest. It is basically my personality, so. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. Although I will say State of Origin will always reign supreme. Best game ever, especially when there's a punch on. Ooh. Are they gonna punch each other? Are they gonna make out? Nobody knows. It's very homoerotic and I enjoy it a lot. I need help. I probably need help. Okay. Let's play Food Guesser. Yeah, I think you could say that I have a lot of problems with my brain. The way that it works is you know, it's a little bit special up there in the old noggin. It's a little bit special. All right, should we guess where foods are from? BL manga, an Australian themed BL would be tight. BL manga. What does? Oh, boy love. Okay, I'm like, what's BL? Sorry guys, I'm you know, I'm not the brightest. I'm not the brightest bulb in the chandelier at the best of times. It takes a while for the synapses to fire sometimes. Let's just say that. It's not we're not firing on all cylinders a lot of the time in my world. Should we guess where this food is from? Or should we keep on talking about homoerotic sporting events that I enjoy watching? Because I'm a massive pervert and I don't know, it excites me. What can I say? Sri Lanka. It's got fish, turmeric, mustard oil, onion.